March 19th.
Welcome to the 100-year-old, world-famous Adventurers Club of Los Angeles, California. It's March 19th. I'm here with the Vice President, Rich. Rich, launch us on tonight's mission.
Well, David, we are still here at the Adventurers Club of Los Angeles. However, the Adventurers Club has suspended its normal Thursday meetings.
So if this was a normal meeting, I'd be on you for not saying your member number. Tell us your member number and what that means.
So my name is Rich Mayfield, member number 1211, which means I'm the 1,211th member to be inducted into the world-famous Adventurers Club. This year, I'm serving as the first vice president, and that's the program chairman, so I'm in charge of putting on programs for the Adventurers Club.
You mean every Thursday we do programs here in beautiful Lincoln Heights?
For those of you that aren't familiar with the Adventurers Club, yes, every Thursday night we do programs here at the Adventurers Club. They're great. It's phenomenal. We do all sorts of stuff, but it's every week, and we have speakers from all around the world.
Still going to be,
that do
one way or another. We ain't giving up. That's the whole point of this show.
That's it. So as adventurers, we're pretty tenacious people, and we recognize that these are changed times that we live in Los Angeles right now. So we are trying our best to keep programs going here, but do it safely and responsibly.
Safety. Damn. People are always saying that to me. I want to rewind a little bit and just review the kind of programs we have. In the last month, we've had an expert, not on Sir Edmund Hillary, first climber of Everest, but on the fellow who climbed up Everest but didn't climb down.
Yep.
I've forgotten his name.
I did too.
But world-famous mountain climbing experts. We've heard from the leading UFO advocate, who was surprisingly
Jan Hartson runs MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network.
We've had reports from archaeologists who've done Egyptian excavations. If it sounds like adventure, we're interested in it. Rich, why don't you tell us a little more on just what the Adventurers Club means?
So that's what it is. We're a collection of adventurers, right? Basically,
self-styled.
The only thing that we care about here is, do you like to go on adventure, right? Are you an adventurer? Do you do cool stuff, right? And that's a little bit different. Some organizations have a scientific mission. We like scientists, but that's not a requirement. The requirement is, are you an adventurer here?
So do we have a formal definition of adventure?
People that travel off the beaten path.
In our bylaws, baked in, it says, those who've left the beaten path. That's it.
So there you have it.
We've got people who, might have operated nuclear reactors, people who record tribal music in the jungle, bird watchers. Adventure doesn't just mean shooting large animals or falling off mountains anymore.
We like to say that, obviously if you look around here, there's a lot of taxidermy. But now our members, they choose to shoot animals with cameras. And some of our members are phenomenal photographers. Photographers that take pictures undersea, right? We've got a lot of scuba divers that do underwater photography, and people that photograph large game or just, out in the world.
To boast about some of our members, we do have an underwater photographer who has species named after him. Like, if you want to be cool at the Adventurers Club, either be on the cover of National Geographic magazine or get a species named after you. Either of those give you pretty good cred.
Absolutely.
Neither of them have I done, but when we reopen, come down here, you'll meet some interesting people.
So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what this whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing means for our Thursday night meetings. So it does mean that we have suspended all Thursday night meetings, right? Normally, we have
no public gatherings.
Yeah, no public gatherings, and we are definitely a public gathering. We have 40 to 60 people here on a regular night, and when we did Tiki Night the other night, we had almost 200 people here. So we are a public space. We bring people together. The thing is, though, we bring people together
because of this thing. And again, for those who may or may not be familiar with the club, half our membership does not live in Los Angeles or even California. Half our membership lives around the world. One of our members, if I can give a shout out to Wayne White, who is currently at the South Pole.
Right. I think that's the only continent that does not have a confirmed case of coronavirus. So good on you, Wayne White.
You're lucky.
You're safe, right? Hopefully nothing else gets you down there.
But a lot of our members live outside California or Los Angeles, like Danny when he's navigating his Polynesian voyaging canoe, can't drop
Right.
into Lincoln Heights.
Right.
But a lot of people do rotate in when they're coming through town.
Right. So, everybody that's here every Thursday is, someone that just came from faraway place.
And therefore
off the beaten
possibly
path.
a disease vector.
Exactly. So we're a pretty good case for ground zero. If I was writing a book about where in Los Angeles would be ground zero, it might be the Adventurers Club.
Because our sophisticated and urbane members travel so extensively.
Yes, absolutely.
We have multiple people that show up most every Thursday who have been to over 200 countries.
Yeah.
And I know there aren't not 200 countries. The UN is still in the 180s, 190s.
Yeah.
But when you count in the unincorporated areas, the tribal regions, the principalities and papalities, we have people who've been to all of them and they're waiting for new ones to be named. That's the kind of people that we like to fancy ourselves as. But it also means that maybe you don't want to hang out with them right now.
So last week, a lot of members expressed concern about whether or not we were going to stay open. Obviously, we know that this is a rapidly evolving situation in Los Angeles. So our president, Alex Shoemate, put out a motion via email, right? Because we didn't want to get together, and this was after our monthly board meeting, right? So we needed to take action as a board. So Alex sent out an email motioning to suspend our Thursday night meetings, and we had a brief discussion about that over email, and people voted. We got a pretty much unanimous affirmative vote to shutter the club for Thursday night meetings.
The Adventurers Club, a democracy?
We absolutely, we're a democracy. We're a incorporated nonprofit in the county of Los Angeles, and we're governed by a board.
And we might even have to follow California laws. Not that we have a problem with that. We're
Right.
normally a private club, and we may be able to claim what we do in the privacy of our own space is our own thing, but we're not asserting that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. We just, on the way over here, we heard that Mayor Eric Garcetti is issuing a new order, right? The Safe at Home order. So that might affect what we're doing moving forward. So
Safe at home, is that what it's called?
yeah, safe at home, right? Or safer at home, safe at home. They didn't want to call it a shelter in place because that has a little bit too much bite to it.
I'm just thinking of those people that are going to get under the cabinets and climb up on ladders, and I doubt if we're going to be that much safer at home. In fact, careful out there.
Yeah.
But no, we are trying to not only respect the public, we're trying to honor our own members because we've got people from all age ranges, and we know certain age ranges are more vulnerable than others.
Yep.
And we want to see our beloved brothers again and our friends.
So, social distancing, right? You've probably heard a lot about this. As you can see from our distancing here is, and you're wearing gloves. I can't even touch you.
I always like to wear gloves when we're in intimate contact.
And if David were to sneeze right now, I'd probably, dive for cover off screen here, knock over some lights. But yeah, so social distancing is important. They say 6 feet is the appropriate
we try
distance.
to model good behavior because the first rule of adventuring is trying to come back from the adventure.
Right. I like, when I'm doing my adventures, I like to say I do it with style. And getting sick while you're on adventure or going through like a big disease might be an adventure for you. But generally, it's better if you can do the adventure without coming down with malaria or dysentery or something like that. It's a little bit more style to it if you're not sick.
And just to boast about the kind of adventure, you, my friend, for example, have done the Appalachian Trail. I mean, all of it.
Yeah, so I guess my claim to fame for adventure is the Appalachian Trail is something I did, but it was in the context of a larger journey that I took. I basically hiked from Key West all the way up to Canada. So that was the Florida Trail, the Appalachian Trail, and some connecting roads in between where I basically had to find my way like a homeless person between the end of the Florida Trail and the Appalachian Trail and the end of the Appalachian Trail to Canada.
So just an aside, do you think you could get into Canada despite the border being closed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is interesting though because when I was up in that area, the northern border, obviously it's
largest
vast.
Undefended border in the world.
Right, it's very vast. It's wooded, right? So you can't see very far. But the thing is there's a lot of people up there, and if you go into one of these towns, right, everybody knows you're there. There's no secret. I would go in and I'd go to a resupply. They're like, oh yeah, I heard some hiker was coming through. I'm like, how the hell did you hear some hiker was coming through? It's because some Some dude was driving down the road and he spotted me walking down the road, and then he went into town and told everybody in that town of 30 or 40 people knows that there's someone coming through. So you could get across, but it's actually kind of difficult not to be noticed, I would think.
Thank you. I guess we should get back to what we're doing as a club, and mainly how
Yes.
we're not giving up on Thursday nights, tackling subjects we think are going to be of interest and that you ought to tune into.
Right. So I think our normal Thursday night schedule got shot by this whole thing. Right. We had speakers cancel. Obviously, we're not meeting. So we're as first vice president, I've been rapidly trying to figure out what we're going to do. And what we came up with is this format. Right. This is our inaugural broadcast for the Adventurers Club of Los Angeles.
Meaning in the future, we will actually have subject matter experts
Right.
who've done stuff. We'll maybe even get some better audio visuals than our mammoth skull. But may I
Right.
pause to draw
Pretty big.
attention? How many of you have a mammoth skull in your intimate spaces?
Right.
Just saying.
So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to do this broadcast every Thursday night. And this is a very low-key, very safe thing to do. It's you and me right now, and there's one other person in the room. That's Andrew Medina, member 1212. And he's running all the tech stuff right now. But there are three of us, and we're pretty
Andrew
much
Medina,
staying-
who I remember gave us a fascinating program on Soviet espionage.
Oh, yeah.
He's fluent Russian speaker, just, the kind of guy that hangs out in
You know,
Lincoln
every
Heights
one
on
of our
Thursdays.
members is here for a reason, right? And they have fascinating adventures. So that being said, it's very difficult to get speakers. People don't want to travel. People don't want to show up. They don't know us. They don't want to be involved. But members want to be. So what we're going to try to focus on right now is we're going to try to focus on what doth an adventurer do in times of lockdown or safe at home, right?
You mean we might even have some suggestions as where you can go hiking?
Yeah.
Pretty mountains you can fall off of in the local area?
So the order is safe at home, but they did make it pretty obvious that you should go out and enjoy the great outdoors, so to speak. It's hard to get close to people when you're outside. Interior spaces are different, right? Interior spaces, by virtue of how we build, right, everybody's close. But nothing's saying you can't go out to a park, or, a park is a nice place to take your family and your kids and hang out. But as adventurers, there's a lot more to do in the LA area.
We've got national parks, national forests. I
Absolutely.
can walk to a national forest from my house in Altadena. And just as an aside, I see one of the script points we're supposed to cover is how does an adventurer try to stay safe and healthy here?
Right.
This has been the best motivation for my jogging program in a long time. I am extra motivated to keep those lungs in tip-top shape. And don't forget to move. Don't forget to exercise. This is not in order to go home and sit on the sofa, though we do want you to tune into this broadcast Thursday nights, and it should also be available via the magic of the internets other nights as well if you want to download and watch it another time.
Yeah, so the great thing about this is we are streaming live, right? And in the future, as we have guests on this program, people will be able to interact live. They'll be able to throw comments at Andy, and he'll be able to chime in with that so we can hear what people are saying. So I think it's going to be a great broadcast. So I mean, what is this broadcast? We've kind of talked about this. The idea behind this broadcast is to still bring people programs, right? Where we want to source those programs from is our membership. So if you're a member watching right now,
or a friend who knows interesting
Yep.
people doing interesting things, keep throwing those referrals at us.
here's the deal. We're about to talk about a lot of cool adventures that you can do in the LA area right now, and a lot of cool adventures that our members do in the LA area all the time. And if I start talking about something and you're that member that does that, you probably know who you are. You're going to be getting a phone call from me, and I'm going to ask you to sit in that chair so you can talk about your adventures. So think about that. If you're a member and you're comfortable sitting 6 feet away from me with one other person in the room talking about your local LA adventures, that's something we'd like you to do. Easy program, easy interview. You don't have to bring a bunch of slides like we normally do. If you're afraid of talking in front of people, right?
There's
if you don't want to
no
get up on
people here.
stage
You
in
don't
front of
have to be bashful. If you don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
public speaking, this isn't public
Yeah,
speaking.
you are broadcast to the entire world. Technically, could watch, but this is a low risk for a lot of people, and it's a way to keep our programs going and to give a benefit to our membership so they know what other people are doing too.
And because this club's been in existence 100 years, we're
Yes.
going to be in existence another 100 years. If you've been down here, you've noticed we have upfixed the club no small amount. It's getting prettier. It's getting more modern. Some people complain they kind of like our old-fashioned look. But where I'm really going with this is, Rich, you had a list of subjects we're going to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
I think I see some over there. Do you want to launch
Sure.
into that?
Yeah, so I was going to say, we still have scotch. That hasn't gone away. We still have our dinners when the dinners start back up. But most
we
importantly,
are not eating now. In case of any of your government
Right.
authorities, we are not serving, feeding, dining, or anything else.
But what do you think? The most important thing about this club is the stories of adventure, and that's what we want to continue to share with our membership in this new format for the broadcast. But for tonight, let's talk about some stuff that we can do in LA. We're very lucky to live in Orange County.
You are lucky to live in Orange County.
Excuse me, in LA. Orange County. Orange County is a little better. I would like to think that we are just a little bit.
Can you walk to a national forest? Can you hike to the top of Echo Mountain, which had the world's most
I've got my
visited
car
place
and I can
before
get to all these
Disneyland?
places. But so let's talk about some things. First on the list, scuba diving. Lots of people, lots of adventurers go to foreign locales to scuba dive. You go to the Bahamas. You go to some of the tropical islands. I've done a lot of that, right?
And yet there is bitchin' diving right here.
Absolutely. There
Even
is.
walk-in diving. But
Yeah.
before you even get to Catalina, but back to
Yeah.
you.
One of our members, Stu Dietz. I'm looking at you, Stu Dietz. Hopefully we'll have him on the program next week to talk about all the diving that he does in California. But it is phenomenal diving. I know Stu, he's posting on Facebook all the time. He pulls lobsters out of that ocean all the time. He eats like a king because he scuba dives. It's a great place to scuba dive. Sure, the aquarium is great with the 78-degree water and all the pretty colorful fish, but Orange County, all the way up from Laguna Beach, all the way up through Malibu, there's fantastic dive sites, world-class dive sites. You get on a boat, you can go out to the Channel Islands, Catalina. You go a little bit further south, you want to dive with great whites. That's all here in California. You don't have to get on a plane to do it.
And again, there's underwater aquatic parks here in Southern California. Catalina has a aquatic park that you can walk in. You do not even need a boat. You can take the ferry, carrying your tank, walk in off the beach, be in
Is that a
fabulous
national
kelp beds.
park? I think it might be
I know it's a protected
I think
underwater park.
Channel
I don't know
Islands,
what flavor.
The Channel Islands themselves are a national park, I think.
And I'm embarrassed to say I don't know if the 26 miles across the sea, Catalina, is one of the Channel Islands. I know the ones further north, Anacapa and the rest.
Yeah,
in
all the way
fact, I've
down,
personally helped drop bombs on a few of those islands.
San Clemente, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, that's Channel Island. So yeah, scuba diving. Yeah, that's an easy one, right? What else? There's a lot of stuff. Surfing, right? Everybody thinks of Hawaii as surfing. World Championships of surfing happen in San Clemente, right? We have world-class surfing.
Surf City, baby.
Guess what? Get out there, do some surfing. We've got some surfers in this club. There's miles of beach where you can go surf, and you can stay away from people.
And
it might start to get a little crowded. So if you're not a good surfer,
well, and it may become a locals only thing, which could get a little ugly. But just another plug for the club. We have a legendary member, Bob Silver, who was not the first white man to go surfing, but damn close to it. Helped popularize it here in California way before bands or woody cars got hip. We've got some pretty deep roots, and I have personally been to the Museum of Surfing, which is here in Southern California. The that university right in Malibu, the fancy Pepperdine.
Pepperdine.
The
Nice place.
Pepperdine Library has the Museum of Surfboards. Everything from literal redwood planks to tri-tail foam boards.
So
it'll blow your mind. I've
it's
been trying to
interesting.
get them as a program.
This project I've been working on and off for a couple years is actually lit surfboards, where we put LED lights on surfboards so people can surf at night. I am not crazy enough to surf at night, but as a tech guru, I've been roped into this, and hopefully we're going to have a guy in the program to talk about how he surfs at night and does this filming.
It's all the easier for the apex predators to find you when you're illuminated at night.
Sure. All right, so surfing, what else? Obviously hiking, right? We've got some great peaks around here. There's tons of great hiking. There's good hiking in the summer. There's good hiking in the winter. You can go up to Idlewild. You can go up to Mount Baldy, which is one of my favorites. Where else? San Bernardino Mountains.
And
There's tons of
to
great
go
hiking.
back to the kind of programs, we should have our past president, who I saw give one of the most amazing programs on hiking. How interesting can it be to talk about walking? I didn't imagine it. The man described the spiritual dimensions of hiking, how it transformed his life, how he woke up one day and he was 60 pounds overweight, diabetic, and on the sofa, and he decided every Saturday, I'm going to do 15 to 25 miles up and down, come hell or high water, in town or not, and several years of hiking every week can be a spiritual, personal transformation. He is now no longer diabetic. He is
There you
now
go.
happier, healthier, and boy, if you want to hike with that guy, you'd better be in shape. Because he invites anyone to come hiking with him. But he says, I'm going to go at my pace, and I ain't stopping. You're welcome to come if you can keep it up.
So there's a couple people hopefully we're going to have, and we're hiking, that we've got some members that like to do the peaks, right? They like to bag those peaks. We like some members that like to go hiking in the snow, right? Or snowshoeing, or just kind of with crampons. We got members that just like to do the trail hiking. We got members that like to go out into the desert. So lots of different things. We've got some desert adventure people that we're going to bring in.
And just to one of my favorite places in the world to plug peak hiking and or snowshoeing crampons, Mount San Antonio, also known as Mount Baldy.
Absolutely.
You can take a chairlift up and down to approximately 7,000 feet or so. Some of the most beautiful mountains in the world, 45 minutes outside of Los Angeles with no traffic.
So let's talk about Baldy for a second, right?
Because this club used to do regular Baldy hikes when John would lead them on his birthday. And we are going to again, though maybe I shouldn't get into organized social activities until this crisis is lifted.
Yeah.
Over to you, Rich.
Well, I read an article that someone posted on the social medias the other day that said, this is not a snow day. I take offense to that. This is absolutely a snow day, right? Get outside, right? And the best thing is I don't know if you've noticed, but it's raining outside. It's snowing up in our mountains, right?
3,000 foot level.
Yeah.
Earlier
so
this
Mount
week.
Baldy, the notch is at like 5,000, 5,400, something like that, way above that snow level. Mount Baldy Ski Resort, if they're still open, right?
World
is a great
class.
place.
Larger than any other place in Southern California. And when it has snow, it is world class.
And guess what? It has snow, and it's world class right now, right?
I used to have an annual pass there, and I love spring skiing, having grown up in California, and I was always bummed when it's a good year, if you get the Pineapple Express like we're getting right now, Baldy would go into May and June. It's like Mammoth. They shut down the mountain because people stop coming, not because the snow isn't there.
Yeah. So I've got my season pass to Baldy. I went last weekend. Probably going to go this weekend. It's going to be phenomenal. So here's the concern. Does Baldy shut down? Right now, like last I heard, they're open for season pass holders, but they're kind of doing a social distancing and they're not sure. The best part about Baldy for an adventurer is if they close that lift, you can always just skin up that fire road, or you can hike up that fire road. So, they can close the lifts, but it's still a national park or national forest.
They operate under a permit.
They
and
operate
they're open to the
under a
public.
permit.
You got to pay the little $5 parking fee to
Right.
park.
Or you can park just outside if you have a forest adventure pass, and you can still do your thing. So Baldy's a great place. It's a fantastic place. I'll tell you one thing, though. If you go up there, make sure that you have chains and you do not get stuck on that road. That's a very important thing for those Angelinos out there, because I've personally been stuck on the Mount Baldy Road for 7 hours. We left at noon. We didn't get off till 7. And that was all because a lot of people just were not prepared for the snow on the road, didn't have four-wheel drive, didn't have chains, didn't know how to drive. I'll back that up. Nobody really knows how to drive in the snow in California, but they have signs that say you have to have chains. So
I'd
take
like
that
to confess
seriously.
to a personal moment of stupidity.
Yeah.
Driving up on a
I'm not gonna
beautiful
like you
spring
after this
morning
one.
to Baldy, I go skiing. I take my 1982 911, which has rear tires wider than I am. It's not raining. It's not snowing. It's a beautiful day. I get 10,000 vertical feet in. It started snowing. Now you try going down a steep downhill in a rear-engine car with 245 millimeter wide rear tires.
Yeah, screw you.
And no
You probably
chains.
backed up that mountain and got people stuck on there.
I looped off the road and ever so gently slid into a snowbank. Didn't even leave a dent.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. All right. So what else is there to do in California? Sailing, right? If you know someone with a sailboat that's not sick, or if you have a sailboat, we've got a couple members with sailboats. Hopefully we'll have some of them.
Hell, we've got a member who lives on a sailboat.
Yeah, we do have a member that lives on a sailboat. I'm looking at you, member who lives on a sailboat. You know who you are. You're going to be on this program.
MN.
Yep,
You're going to be.
him.
In fact, we'd love to hear a program about what it's like to live aboard because, come on, how many of you read books growing up and thought, hey, I would love to live on a boat, not pay rent, take your house with you, and I hear it's very romantic too.
Yeah.
If in the dating world.
Yeah. So there's, there's tons of stuff to do. You can go hunting, shooting in Southern California. People don't know that, right? You can go rock climbing out at Joshua Tree. There's so much stuff to do outdoors.
And we're dwelling on this because this is your invitation.
Right.
The shelter in place isn't shelter in place. It's safe at home. And home to me includes, just about everything from Imperial Beach, California, up to Ventura.
Right.
And again, between the mountains, the nature. Let me plug outside a little more. Outside is one of the safest places in a biohazard environment. Uncle Sam taught me that if there is biological or chemical warfare, the best sanitizing, the best neutralizing is sunshine and a breeze. Mother
Yep.
Nature's ultraviolet rays kill just about every nasty. And since I know a few things about the history of attempts at chemical biological warfare, they almost always fail when the wind blows in the wrong way or when the sun shines, and they're confined to very small, localized areas. My point is, being outside is probably safer than being most of the places you could find yourself indoors.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap it up, I got a message for our members, right? If as a member, you do something cool in this local area, right? And it's something that is safe for people to do.
Or even if it's unsafe, we also like to. I hear things at this club all the time.
Yeah,
that
let me
curls
clarify,
my hair.
right?
I would
Yeah,
never
yeah, let
touch
me
it with a
clarify,
10-foot
right?
pole,
Like,
but I'm interested in it.
We're talking about safe from a social distancing perspective. We social distance, right? Because, our healthcare system may fall apart, right? So we want to maintain a social distance so we don't overwhelm our healthcare facilities.
You're not going to be part of the problem.
Right, we don't want to be part of the problem. But if your activity around here involves people hanging outside, distanced from each other, and you think it's a safe activity from a, what would you call it? Like a, what are you calling this? From a pandemic perspective. If you are not going to further the pandemic by doing this activity outside, right? So if going outside means that I don't know, what would be an activity? What's something that people could do outside that would be
Making
unsafe?
love in your hot tub?
Yeah, making love in a hot tub. Maybe we're gonna not talk about going to the hot springs where there's a bunch of nasty people or something like that.
The warm, sticky water, maybe that's not such a good idea.
But most of our activities that our members do are a great thing to do during this time where we all have to shelter in place. And as adventurers, I think all of us need to stay sane, right? So we're looking for stuff to do outside. I know a lot of people aren't working.
And I know a lot of people who belong to this club, the recipe for staying sane is to go out and do slightly crazy stuff in a relatively safe manner.
That's it. So if you're a member that does that on a regular basis in LA, right? Because basically as adventurers, we're not flying anywhere, right? We're not flying to foreign countries. We're not going out there to bars or restaurants or concerts or, we can't do any of that stuff anymore. But what we can do is we can do those badass outdoor activities that most of us are known for. So if you're one of those people, if you're one of those adventurers that belongs to this club, or if you have a friend that does those badass activities in the Los Angeles area, we want to hear from you. We want to get you on this show.
And when this whole thing blows over,
yeah,
we want you to, even if you're not one of our members, we want you to come on down, meet them, go on some adventures with us. I've met some cool people. I've gone to some amazing places just through people I met at this club. And because we're 100 years old, we are always interested in new members who have left the beaten path. So when this blows over, we will still be here. We'll still be interested in things you are. Come on down. And in the meantime, throw us some leads if you've got some good ideas.
So thank you for watching the inaugural broadcast from the Adventurers Club of Los Angeles. We do streams on a Thursday night, but this is our first broadcast like in this
format. Should we call it the Adventurers Club Network?
The ACN. Hey, that works.
We'll check into the trademarks.
We'll put that down. We'll put that down here. There it is. Yeah, we'll put that right down there. ACN. We'll see. All right, you have anything else, David? Put you on the
Strangely,
spot.
no.
We got everything out of you? Okay, good.
Tune in next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Matt channel. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.